206-461-3792.
Phil-Am Radio, servicing the Filipino and Filipino Americans all over the world. Phil-Am Radio, streaming live in the internet every Tuesday from 1 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Seattle, USA time. We are your host, Kuya Bert Kawili, Emma Heron, and
Manny Panganiban.
Phil-Am Radio.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio. A cold front expected to move into the Puget Sound region brings the potential for lowland snow. The cold air will drop snow levels to near sea level, bringing with it a chance for a mix of rain and snow showers, especially in areas north of Seattle. While there is a chance of lowland snow, the forecast shows a low chance for any major snow event. The current lowland snow accumulation would only be between a trace to 2 inches. Temperatures are expected to warm a little and dry out, King 5 reports. And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
You're listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, RainierAvenueRadio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Well, welcome to another edition of Monday Night Sports. I'm Dupe. The other guy with me, it's Edwin Bailey, and there he is. And we want to welcome you to our show. And Edwin, it is down to 2 teams. And we were not. Well, we were 50-50. We were 1-1. You know, we both had the same predictions. But before we talk about Tampa Bay and Green Bay and the big win for the Buccaneers, and then Kansas City, which I don't think was a surprise, but Buffalo gave them a run for their money. Buffalo's nice. I want to just take a moment and pay homage, if you will, to Hank Aaron, the great Hank Aaron, who passed away last Friday, 86 years old. And just what an incredible story. And, you know, he played down in your neck of the woods down in Georgia. When you think of Hank Aaron, what comes to mind for you, man?
Character, success.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever went to a sporting event was to see the Dodgers and the Braves play. My dad was an avid baseball fan. Had a chance to meet him once. Just an incredible individual, man.
Yeah. It's, you know, a big loss. He, again, just a tremendous career. Thank you. Yeah, we just see some video of him. Thanks, Daniel. And I know, Daniel, I know you probably got some video of the playoff games too. I meant to send something to you. So I see Daniel's on it. He got our back. But Hank Aaron, you know, I mean, obviously most recognized for the career home runs that he hit 755 overall, but he broke Babe Ruth's record. And that was a big deal. And, you know, it's interesting. And I don't know if you saw some interviews over the weekend, but he talked about it. And at the time, I remember, man, there were threats on his life and people, you know, didn't like the fact that he broke the record. But he was such a humble, and there he is, such a humble individual. And look at the fans coming on the field. I remember that, man. It was crazy.
Hey, they call that the Cadillac Trot.
Yeah, man, taking his time. But you know what's so crazy, man, about his career. So again, 755 career homers. He played a couple more seasons after he hit that you just saw, his 715th, to at the time take over the career home run lead from Hank Aaron. And his career spanned from 1954 to 1976. And he still holds major league records for RBIs, total bases, extra base hits. He's in the top rankings and, a number of hits, third all time, games played, third all time, fourth most runs scored all time. I mean, man, he just had an incredible career. And here's the crazy thing, Edwin, and you know this better than a lot of us, but we can educate our listeners. He didn't start out playing in the major leagues. Back in the early days, black athletes, black baseball players weren't allowed to play in the major leagues. And obviously Jackie Robinson broke the color bar, that color line. But Hank Aaron played, his first few seasons in the Negro Leagues. So just imagine you give him a few more seasons.
I think he played for the Indianapolis Clowns.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is the most impressive thing about Hank Aaron, Rick. That, and if you are a baseball fan and you understand, what's going on in baseball, you could take all 755 home runs away from it, and he still got 3,000 hits.
I know. Ain't that crazy, man?
That's absolutely insane, man.
Yeah. He what is it? Let me see. I'm sure all-time hits. Yeah, third all-time in hits with 3,771. Come on, man. Yeah, he just absolutely incredible. He he finished his career in Milwaukee, but listen to this. A couple of things. He was National League MVP in 1957. That same year, the Braves won the World Series. He was a 2-time batting champion, 3-time Gold Glove winner, all-time record of, or rather, I should say, 25-time All-Star, man, and earning that honor every season. Yeah. He was an All-Star every season he played except his first and his last. And just an incredible career. Obviously, his number 44 was retired. And it'll be interesting. I've heard, and I think you heard on the news here on Rainier Avenue Radio leading into our show, there's talk about will the Atlanta change the name to honor him, Hammer and Hank, and what have you. So be interesting to see how Major League Baseball honors him. Obviously, he's on the list of all-time great players. But I would be remiss, man, if we didn't just take a moment to to recognize and honor Hank Aaron. I'm looking at an article here, and off the field, he did a whole bunch of stuff. He was an activist for civil rights. But he said, if I was white, all America would be proud of me. That was almost a year before he passed Ruth. He said, but I'm black. And that's the sad thing that because of the color of his skin, it took away in a lot of people's eyes and the accolades that he received. But he still was recognized. Just everybody that talks about what a kind human being, a humble human being that he was. So again, Hank Aaron.
Hey, Rick. Hey, when you want to see something funny, man, and hear him explain it, after he hit the home run, his mom comes and get him around the neck, and then that growl loose. Hey, man, he said she about choked him out.
Really? His mom was like, yeah.
Hey, man, and he always said, I don't even know how she got down there on the field.
Hey, come on, Edwin. You know your mama, and I know my mama. Yeah, come on. Yeah. When mama speaks, people moving out the way. Yes, ma'am.
I stop and I listen.
What's that?
I said, with my mama, I stop and listen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know that's right. She
ain't had no manners. And embarrassing me and my brother was not out.
Oh, come on, man. That's No, you don't want to try, mama. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you just joined us, I'm Dupe. He's Edwin Bailey. This is Monday Night Sports. And again, just wanted to take a moment to recognize Hank Aaron and again, just recognize his absolutely wonderful career and even just that much greater of a man and his passing last week. And he will be missed, but certainly not forgotten. And he has certainly made his mark on not only baseball, but on the world. And at 86, he passed away. So lived a good life, had a lot of good years. And that's a good thing. So let's turn it back to football. You and I both. Let's start with the Green Bay Tampa game, and we both picked the Packers. And I got to be honest, man. Looking at the Packers and their win over the Rams, I was like, man, I just don't know if anybody can beat them. And what was interesting is that Tampa, played had the lead at halftime. Brady threw 3 interceptions, man, in the second half, and Green Bay was coming back. But Tampa, man, their defense, and they did what they had to do to come away with the win. Ed, I want to ask you, because we were talking off air, and I want you to just share a little bit. You were in the Patriots organization when they drafted Tom Brady, and now at 43, this dude is still getting it done. Can you talk a little bit about Tom Brady, what you guys saw, kind of that whole process?
Well, what we saw was a kid that in a lot of ways was similar to the quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, that we had there at quarterback. Big, he wasn't as athletic, his arm wasn't as strong, but he was a big kid that took football very, very serious. It wasn't no secret to everybody that was in the scouting department where he was from. He was from the San Francisco area, and he idolized, Montana, and he was a big football fan. And we needed a camp arm, somebody that could throw the ball around and give our defensive back and our receivers some work. Yeah. And we brought in and we drafted and brought him in. Bledsoe got hurt, and as they say, very cliche-ish, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. And just a few plays ago, Leonard Fournette, great touchdown run. And I'm looking at Tampa, man, and that was a great play there. I mean, their defense.
Yes, it was.
Their defense, if I'm not mistaken, I remember they said this on the broadcast yesterday. I was looking it up, trying to find it. I couldn't find it, but I believe in the postseason, their defense has caused like 7 turnovers, and I believe they have converted on all of them. And I want to say they've scored like 40 some odd points off of those, so almost converting all of those into a touchdown. And you and I have talked about this before. When to make it this far, you got to have some luck. You got to be healthy, but you have to protect the rock. Yes. And you have to take advantage of your opportunities, and Tampa certainly did. Green Bay, I tell you what, this in the third quarter, Green Bay made just a wild comeback, and this interception here is like, okay, man, watch out. Now the ball's gonna go back in Aaron Rodgers' hand. Watch out. But that Tampa defense and Vita Vea from UW and that whole defense, man, they look good.
Those guys ain't a whole lot of big names, but a lot of effort, a lot of step up.
Yeah.
And what I can also see is the time that I was there in New England, and we did go to a Super Bowl. I can see the influence that Brady has on that team, because he comes to practice, he comes to play. Everything is all about what's going on at the time. And I think you can see that throughout the Buccaneer organization now, from the coaches right down to the ball boys. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, his influence and this team, they were patient and they took their time. And I think, you look at his move to go to Tampa, that was a great play there. Understanding the game situation and sliding, not going out of bounds. And preserving the clock. But Tom Brady, and then we'll go to the AFC game. Tom Brady, though, you're right, Edwin. I mean, his influence on that team and just his leadership. And again, you look at a guy, and he's still, like you said, he has never had the overly strong arm that, throwing those deep bombs. But, the older you get, and tell me if you think this is right or not. I mean, there are certain positions, in quarterback being the top one, where you continue to understand the game. You get better and better. And if you physically, and he takes care of himself, and you look at a guy like LeBron, for example, that they invest, millions of dollars in their health and staying healthy. He can still get it done, and he's not relying on this great physical ability to be able to run, to be able to throw the ball, 70 yards. But he can read the defenses. He's a leader, and he makes the right plays. And then you got this guy Gronkowski, who is going to be, was his primary target in New England, and now he's got him here in Tampa Bay. Well, these guys understand the game plan. If you understand the game plan, you can get the run established. There's no name that jumps out at you from the Buccaneers running back room. But everybody there is very, very, very productive. Yeah, and
we'll keep it here with the AFC highlights. So you're okay. Keep him here. Josh Allen, man, I tell you what, man, I seen Josh Allen, seen him scramble some, man. He made some nice scrambles. I was like, man, this big dude, he can get it done.
He's a talented kid. He's a very, very talented kid. And, and I was watching and trying to figure out who he was and what he was about. I watch his timing. His timing is incredible.
Yeah, and that play, we just saw the fumbled punt, and then Buffalo took it in right in and scored. But I tell you what, Kansas City, man, came back, and this young man made up for that fumbled punt. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna redeem myself," and man, did he ever! And I can't say enough, Edwin, about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he just gets it done, man.
Well, if Patrick Mahomes get this one, and he plays just great football from this point on, you know, he could easily unseat Brady for the GOAT.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's got, it's going to be interesting to see how his career progresses, because you think, I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's only going to get better. But what he's so good at is making. I mean, he can throw the ball. It doesn't matter if he's going left, right, forward, backward, diagonal. I mean, he gets the ball off and gets rid of it, and makes great plays. And
he's got a lot of arm.
Yeah, he does. You know, and Kansas City's got a lot of weapons. You know, but this was a great guy. I was really, you know, a big Buffalo fan. If for no other reason that my oldest brother from Buffalo and passed a couple of years ago, and I went for the second time in my life, but the first time I could really remember, went to Buffalo. And Tyreek Hill, man, that dude can just get it done. But went to Buffalo a couple of years ago for his memorial service, and man, that town, it's really a depressed town. You know, a lot of business owned, boarded up, what have you. So I know this was incredible for that community, for that city, to have a team, make it this far, and for Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's going to be good for some years to come. I mean, they really are. And I mean, I don't think we've seen the last of them. It was too bad that they, couldn't make it. But I think you and I both, because of that guy right there. Look at that play, backing up and still getting rid of it, and then just Eric Bieniemy, the former Colorado and San Diego Charger. Running back is their offensive coordinator, man. And he's creative. They come up with some great plays.
What I'm hoping is, everybody's, he needs to be the next head coach. I really don't want him to leave Kansas City.
Yeah.
I would, just go ahead and just burn the candles at both ends and burn out at Kansas City, get all the Super Bowls you want, and it's back to back. He's justified.
Yeah.
But I love that Kelsey kid too, man. That Kelsey kid is amazing.
Yeah. So let's talk real quickly. Super Bowl, got a couple weeks here for these teams to get ready. What are you thinking going into the Super Bowl? And this week we're gonna have to let's give a score. What do we think the score is going to be? But what are you thinking? Where you at, Edwin? Man, where you at? Oh, there you are. Okay, the man with that. You leaning back in that chair, baby.
I'm thinking Kansas City, Rick.
Yes, sir.
I really do. Hey, I gotta like Brady. If I can't tell you, I don't like Brady.
Yeah.
And I wear an AFC championship ring. One of the games. One of the Super Bowls he didn't win. But I like Mahomes, man. Mahomes got speed on the outside. It's going to be real scary if they find that steady back. And they're developing one now because we got a kid that's back from injury. And once they develop that one running back, that Marshawn Lynch type running back. That's a missing ingredient. And there's no reason but to bring in the same kind of receivers that they already have. You catch a 3-yard out, and you 70 yards up the field running in no time. So I think it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl. I'd love to go to Tampa Bay. I had possibly one of the best times of my life in Tampa Bay.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to go into detail. Why?
What? Detail to my wife in another room.
Well, you wasn't married then. That wasn't your wife. So it's okay. But so I'm with you. I'm looking at the stats. And so a couple of things real quick. So Mahomes is just so efficient. Yesterday, man, was 29 of 38, 325, 3 TDs, no interceptions. And that's, I want to see Russell Wilson get to that point. And Russell Wilson, I mean, he has performed in the big games, week in, week out, consistently his whole career. But you and I talked about this. I want to talk about their offensive coordinator position here in just a couple of minutes. We got about 7-8 minutes left in the show. But, the Seahawks have to be able to protect him. The thing I watch, and Brady, I'm sorry, you look, they got to Josh Allen a little bit, and in the NFC game, Tampa got to Aaron Rodgers, and Brady went down a few times. And you look at earlier, in the season, previous meetings when Tampa met New Orleans, for example, they had gotten to Brady quite a bit, but in that playoff game, they didn't.
Right.
But my point is, you've got to the teams that take it to that next level. They're peaking, and you and I have talked about this also. They're peaking at this time, number one. Number two, they are minimizing the mistakes. And even yesterday, Tampa, the 3 interceptions didn't hurt them. They were able to play through that and won it. But in this Buffalo Kansas City game, the Chiefs give up some points, but man, they always do what they need to do. And so, did you give me a score? I'm gonna have to ask you to give me a score real quick, and I'm gonna give a score, and then let's talk a little bit about the Seahawks offensive coordinator position.
I said 30-14.
30-14. Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say 31-24, Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got the Chiefs as well, right? I need to write this down so we can. We got a couple weeks here. Hold on. So I'm gonna put this in my notes here.
So we got something to gripe about when we come back.
Yeah, when you're saying KC, what was your score again? 30-14, you said?
31-14.
31-14. Okay, so that's you. I'm gonna say Chiefs. I think 31. I mean, I think they'll put up. They put up 38 yesterday. I'll say 31 to 24. I think it's going to be a really close game. But yeah, let's go with that. So those are our predictions. If you listening, if you have a prediction, you can certainly. And next week we'll be talking about this as well. You can call in, or you can shoot us a message on Facebook Live or any of the ways to communicate with us, and we'll talk about that next week. We're also going to try to get somebody, an NFL expert, if we can. I won't say who we're trying to get, but we'll see if we can line somebody up next week and get their perspective. If not, it'll just be me and Edwin, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Yeah, so Edwin, let's shift gears. We got about 5 minutes here, and Seahawks. So looking at a more recent article, you a couple of guys that their names are in there. Apparently Peterson is talking about taking a year off. Anthony Lynn from who was head coach at San Diego and what have you. Most notably, he is looks like not available. He's going to take the gig. I'm forgetting where now. So it's going to be interesting. There's 2 new names according to an article or according to Adam Schefter from ESPN. And apparently, Seahawks are expressing interest in interviewing the Bills quarterback coach, Ken Dorsey. And they also have been talking to, I guess, the Rams passing game coordinator, Shane Waldron. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's WLA, but Waldron. And so that's going to be interesting to see. What are your thoughts in terms of what do you think the Seahawks need to get in an offensive coordinator? What should they be looking for?
Sometimes they say you can look around the league and see what you like.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like that. Well, everybody needs to trying to get like Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody that can get the passing game going and unique run game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get that type of talent, and we got big receivers, we got a little run around receiver, we got a quality quarterback, and I think the offensive line needs a little shoring up, but we can be very, very productive from an offensive standpoint,
Yeah, no doubt. you look at Waldron. He started out as the Rams tight end coach, and then he was the Rams passing game coordinator in 2018. Then he was their quarterback coach as well for one season in 19. But in his 3 seasons, kind of in those roles, the Rams finished fifth, 4th, and 13th in passing yards in 3 seasons. And he's been their passing game coordinator. In that same time, Jared Goff has passed for over 13,000 yards, 72 touchdowns, 41 interceptions. So certainly Waldron can come in and he can get it done from a passing perspective. I think the ingredients are there. Dorsey, says since coming to Buffalo in 2019, he's helped. Obviously, Josh Allen has become. Josh Allen is. He's done well. Allen had breakout year, 37 TDs, 10 interceptions, 4,500 passing yards this year.
Hey, he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah. And I don't think it's any accident that when Dorsey took over in that role, you saw Josh Allen's game advance to another level. So those are a couple of guys that were on there. Dorsey played in the CFL, and then he was with the Panthers. And in 2013, he became the Panthers coach, and he was working with Cam Newton for the next 5 seasons. And he was their quarterback coach when Cam won the MVP award back in 2015. So, some guys that have some good credentials. It's going to be interesting to see. I think that one of the things that's going to be important is that, we talked about this regardless, I should say, of what you do at that position, and that position being the offensive coordinator, you've got to shore up the offensive line. You and I have talked about that, and we just, Russell Wilson, you give him the time, he can take it to another level even. And I think you have by committee, you mentioned this last week, by committee, a good running back core. And again, I still stick with what we talked about last week, When the 2 keys for this team, we got about a minute left, are offensive and defensive line. That's where they need to focus in this draft.
Yeah. When they had Hutchinson and Jones, they didn't have no problem getting offensive established. Yeah. So hey, it's gonna be interesting to see the direction that they go in, and I'm excited about it. I want to see. I'm really, really excited about this Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So 2 weeks away. So next week, Edwin and I make sure to come back and join us, and we'll talk a little bit more about and preview the Super Bowl. And we'll see if we can, if nothing else, we'll if we're not able to get anybody live, we'll try to get some sound, just, because there'll be a lot of press, obviously. And so we'll get a little bit of sound and just kind of see what the perspective of those involved are. Also want to remind you that, on Rainier Avenue Radio, you can hear over 70 shows, including music, sports, local and national news, talk shows, including political, current events, diverse languages, children's programming, and much, much more right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Stay tuned. Keep it right here, because following us after the break is Lid Line right here on Rainier Avenue Radio for Daniel B, for Edwin Bailey, the big guy, number 65. There he is. I'm Dupe. Until next week, peace and God bless.
All right, Rick.